Welcome to the Car Guys and welcome to this week's episode on my garage. That's right people, you've been asking for it and now you're gonna get it. This is the definitive list of all of the sorry pieces of rusty rubbish that I love to buy, love to restore and love working on, all contained in one single place, and that's here at the new Essex HQ for the Car Guys. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with car number one. This is the car that you're all familiar with. This is the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus that arrived just after lockdown. Remember the car that I bought at Bonham's auctions? We went to drive all of those lovely cars. Go and find that video in our archives. And this is the one for me that stood out, and it just, you know, put in a cheeky bid and we were very lucky to pick it up and add it to the collection. And this kind of started for me my collection from that point onwards. I'd already sold a load of cars previous to that, and then I thought, well, you know, I fancy doing something a bit different. COVID's here, we're a bit bored, we don't really have a lot to do, so what can I do to fill my time? And one of the things I did was I got onto eBay and I started buying other cars, which we'll get around to in a minute. But this car is still fantastic. There was a little bit of a problem with it a couple of months ago. The gear selector forks, the bolts that hold that plate in, had worn, so it wasn't really coming out of gear properly. So when it got hot and you were pushing on, you couldn't get it out of gear and into another gear, and it was a bit cumbersome and it rattled a lot. So we've had those bolts remanufactured, we've refitted that, and hey presto, she's back up to her original amazingness. It's just such a brilliant car to drive. I love every time I get in it. I want to drive it all the time. I cannot come to this place without having to drag it out and then just drive it up the road and back. Unfortunately, we're in winter now. I don't really want to, how can I put it? I don't want to tempt the rust demons and then turn up next year to find just four wheels leaning up against each other with a pile of rust that I need to sweep up, because don't forget, these old cars are prone to the rust mite. So she's going to get tucked away for the winter. We'll get her out again in spring. We're going to get some new tyres on her. I think we're going to go for something a little bit more sticky and track-like. But yeah, absolutely, what an amazing car. There is only one downside to this car, and that is that unfortunately, since we moved her over here from the other unit, we've managed to knock the front offside wheel arch. It's not a major dent, as you can see, but it is enough just to give me a little bit of a tear in my eye. It was a bit upsetting, but you know, it's only bodywork. This stuff can get fixed fairly easily. So she'll go off to the body shop at some point on the back of a trailer in the next few months, and then she'll be ready to go for spring. So that's it, that's the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. Sitting next to the Talbot is the absolutely amazing Fiat 500 that we bought. I mean, this was a completely off-the-cuff buy. I just thought, you know, I need a present for my girlfriend. I've got to buy her something. Always loved the Fiat 500s, and then just managed to pick this car up. What an incredible thing! So it's still here. It's been a great fun over the summer. We've had lots of time out in it with the roof open. You know, we've had such great weather that it's been the perfect little car to run around in, doing little jobs backwards and forwards here and there. The only thing that's let me down is it did blow its fan belt, which is actually not really a fan belt, it's more of a kind of alternator belt, but you know, it blew it, it basically exploded when I was quite some way from home. And unfortunately, girls don't wear stockings anymore, so you can't get the old stockings and tie them in a knot around it. That doesn't work. So I ended up taking shoelaces out of my trainers, fashioning a modicum of a fan belt to get me home. Luckily the engine is air cooled, and we did it on a couple of little trips. We went through 2 shoelaces and a lot of heartache, but managed to get it home in the end. Absolutely brilliant. Got a new fan belt on there, took 20 minutes to fix, up and running again. What an amazing car. So the Bambino is now put away for the winter, cover on. Don't really want this girl going out again for exactly the same reasons as the Talbot. I don't want to come back after the winter to find a little puddle of rust where it's all disintegrated through the poor weather. So that thing will be out again in the spring, which gives us lots of opportunity to explore the other cars that we've got in the collection. after I bought the Talbot and the Talbot arrived and I was so excited to see that car, and COVID hit and we were in lockdown and there was literally no going out and no having fun and don't you enjoy yourself because that's bad and you'll die. After that had all passed for the first couple of weeks, I was sitting there of an evening, you have a couple of beers, you're having a look at eBay, you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Or I'm a bit bored. And then you start going, well, I've got one rally replica. Wouldn't be anything wrong with having another one, and wouldn't it be quite interesting if we kind of went through the process of building a rally replica out of a fairly standard, normal run-of-the-mill car? And then I thought, do you know what, I've always wanted a Celica GT4, and I've always wanted a Celica GT4 in white, in Castrol livery, because that's the only one you can have. I realised that Repsol came before Castrol. I realised that some of the best drivers were with Repsol and they buggered off and the drivers went with them. However, the car that I remember, don't forget Sega Rally, Castrol, liveried Celica GT4, those are the things that I remember from being a kid. So I set out to try and find myself one, trawling through eBay, and they can command quite a lot of money if they're in really, really good condition, especially the limited edition Carlos Sainz ones, which are actually the ones that you really want. But I didn't have that much money. I had a small pot of cash that I thought I could use to get the right donor car, and then over the period of the next 18 months, I can add bits and pieces to it as money becomes available and build myself a proper rally rep. Now, what did I find? Did I find a really good car? Did I get a really cheeky buy on eBay? No, frankly, this is a pile of crap. Honestly, the thing's a complete nightmare. I've had new seals put on it, new rear quarters. The guy that owned it before tried to fit a big boy exhaust on it, completely failed. Failed so badly, he had to cut part of the bodywork out to make the exhaust fit, but if he'd only slotted it together properly, he wouldn't have needed to do that. So that's a pain in the arse. He's also cut a big hole in the boot space, God knows why. This is a JDM import. This is the rally version with the shorter ratio gearbox, so the correct one, if you were in the market for one. But he wanted to turn it into a full fat version, like you would buy in the UK. So he took the interior from a 2-litre GT and put that in it. Ditched the thin windows, ditched the door cards, ditched all of the cool stuff that came with it in the first place, threw all that away and replaced it with other old crap. Consequently, the car was a pile of shit. Honestly, it had been sitting for 5 years before I got it. We had to winch it onto the trailer because it wouldn't run properly. We finally got it back. We cleaned the injectors. We had a new fuel rail fitted. We got the electrician in, our good friend, he also electrician. He checked it all out, turned out broken wire in one of the injectors, got that fixed, 50 quid later, perfectly running car. At that point, I got all of the interior components the other guy had fitted, and I picked them up and I put them straight into a skip. They were gone, I don't want to see them anymore. This is going to have a cage fitted, it's going to be painted white, it's going to have new suspension, new bonnet, new bumper. It's going to look the absolute nuts when it's finished. Or, you tell me, should I do it like that, or should I go down the Repsol route? I don't know. What do you think? I think this is a great project. Maybe you want to see us do this on a staged project. If you'd like to see a series based on turning this into a rally car, let us know in the comments and we'll certainly do it. Welcome to my Mini Cooper S. That's right, I actually own a Mini Cooper S. Now, you probably haven't heard much about this car, or even, I don't think we've even spoken about it on the channel, maybe only in passing. This is a 2004 car. It's a supercharger as opposed to the turbo version, so it's the correct version. Now, the story behind this car is a couple of years ago, a friend of ours was turning 50, and we decided that we were going to do this mega Italian job style road trip all the way down to Italy in various different modern minis, do a quick tour around Turin and then drive back again. Unfortunately, due to various different circumstances, that trip never happened. But the cars never went either, so I've been left with this beautiful blue with a black roof Mini Cooper S. It's had a bit of a crunch on the front bumper, so its bodywork isn't in the best condition possible. It currently doesn't work because the clutch master cylinder has gone, the slave cylinder's broken, but that's a fairly easy replacement once we get it up in the air. Other than that, it runs fine. The supercharger's a bit noisy, so we need to change that. Probably get a smaller pulley on it tighten up the belts, give it a full service, and it'll be absolutely rocking. Now my thoughts around this car are that I keep it completely stock and standard. It needs a new exhaust because one of the boxes is completely rusted through. Or we are a set of suspension and some seats away from possibly a GP1 replica. Now I never got to drive a GP1, I never owned a GP1, but they always fascinated me and everyone just raved about how amazing they were. And even the standard Mini Cooper S drives absolutely brilliantly. So I'm thinking maybe we go down the GP1 type replica route. I don't know. Tell us what you think. Let us know in the comments. Do you think that's a good idea? Should we keep it stock and bog it off? Get rid of it because it's a pile of crap and no one really wants an old Mini? Or shall we keep it, hang on to it and just play fun with it? And now we come to the final car that I picked up literally, I don't know, a week or so ago. This is an MGB Roadster that has been raced previously in hill climbs and rallies, historic rallies and things. It's had quite a lot of work done to it. It's got the Sebring body kit on it. It's got an MGC bonnet fitted to it. It's running an 1800 fast road engine, so allegedly putting out about 130 horsepower. I have no idea because this thing has not run yet. I've always wanted an MG because I love them, I think they're great. They're kind of the archetypal British sports car. I can't afford a Healey because they are stratospherically expensive now. So MG it is. I was looking at an auction site a couple of months ago and I saw this car with the bulging wheel arches and I thought, blimey, that's strange, what's all that about? Did a bit more research, found out that these are a Sebring conversion designed to run in the American 24-hour Sebring. It is a historic shape. It just looks amazing. I've got lost for words. I don't really know what to tell you. This car looks fantastic. It's got the bulging wheel arches, it's got bigger wheels and tyres. It's a proper old school race car. It's a bit beaten up. Actually, it's quite a lot beaten up, but it's a really good basis to build a kind of resto mod depending on which direction we want to go. I love this car and right now I'm going to attempt to start it for the very, very first time on camera. So let's see what it goes like. So unfortunately she didn't start, but that's okay because that's part of the fun of owning these cars. We've got some new plugs and points coming at the end of the week. We'll refurb the engine, we'll take it all apart and we'll get the thing running. Maybe we'll do an episode on getting this car running as well and show all the trials and tribulations we go through to get this thing under power one more time. And the final car on the list is the trusty old Volvo. She's still here, she's used every single day. I've been moving crap around in the back of her, I've been towing car trailers with her, I've had the roof rack on and been putting stuff in it. This is a proper workhorse. Honestly, this car is amazing. It makes owning all of the other cars possible. And the reason why I say that is that you don't always want to be in a rattly, old, smelly, difficult to drive, problematic car. What you want to be able to do is go out for a bit of a blast, come back, get in your trusty, comfortable old automatic Volvo and have a bit of a cruise home. So yep, she's still here, she's still brilliant. Definitely not getting rid of this one. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've really had a lot of fun taking you through the cars that I own. As you can see, I quite like the eclectic. I'm not necessarily have the budget like Damian does to afford these really expensive high-end cars or even cars that are in perfect condition. But what I do love to do is tinker with old motors and get proper driving experiences. So that's my car collection. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave comments because we read them all. Ding that notification bell for when we have another video uploaded. Find us on Instagram, Facebook and our website and see you in the next episode.